That investigation is now complete. The central findings of the investigation are that the man whose voice is heard on the recording and on a second recording from the same conversation that was released on Sunday, accordingly, effective immediately, I'm banning
with immediate effect. Those were the words that changed everything. Now Brittney Griner, one of the most recognizable names in the WNBA, is suddenly out. It took only one sentence. No fine, no warning, and no chance to return. Adam Silver stepped before the cameras for one of the most intense news conferences we've seen in years. What exactly happened? Did Griner interfere with games? Supporters are asking serious questions. Was she attempting to influence referees? Or is there something much bigger happening behind the scenes? Leaks and allegations suggest this story becomes even more complicated the deeper you look. Claims involving her identity, audio leaks, scandal, and secret testimony have all entered the conversation. So, fasten your seatbelt. We're going through everything. Let's start with how this situation became impossible to control. Adam Silver appeared at an urgent press conference and immediately dropped a bombshell. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Surprisingly, almost 90% of our readers are still not subscribers. It's completely free, takes only a second, and helps us create more videos like this. Have you subscribed yet? If you have, thank you. I genuinely appreciate your support. Now, let's return to the story. As of right now, Brittney Griner has a permanent ban from the WNBA. There was no long build-up or warning. The announcement came like a shock. Griner wasn't simply another athlete. For years, she was one of the league's biggest stars. She won Olympic gold medals, gained international recognition, and appeared in all-star games. Now she's gone. But Silver didn't sound pleased about the situation. He said the league had carried out a comprehensive internal investigation and that the findings were too serious to overlook. Multiple alleged rule violations, turmoil away from the court, and, most seriously, possible involvement in a major corruption case were reportedly examined. Silver's message was clear. There is no place in the game. But what exactly did investigators uncover? And what went so wrong that Silver was forced to consider the harshest punishment possible? This wasn't presented as one isolated mistake. Instead, it was described as a long list of warning signs that eventually reached a breaking point. So, let's look at it. Before we examine everything, remember who we're talking about. Brittney Griner was a major WNBA player. Her ability to dominate around the basket and block shots made her a fan favorite. She won 2 Olympics and became a walking symbol of women's basketball. She appeared in Nike commercials, hosted basketball camps, and represented the United States of America. She seemed to be everywhere. Now she's gone. No farewell tour, no public warning, just completely excluded. So, how does someone go from being one of the league's biggest stars to being pushed completely out? According to the allegations, her recent behavior wasn't the only issue. Rumors had circulated for a long time about conflict inside the locker room, problems with teammates, and confrontations with referees. Then the concerns began piling up. Suddenly, people around the league were talking about missed team practices and questionable off-court activity. Yet, the league allegedly tolerated it for some time.
Why?
Because Griner brought attention. But once that attention became more damaging than valuable, Silver reportedly decided it was time to cut ties. The headlines were becoming too loud. One of the league's biggest players was suddenly gone. It's hard to ignore how dramatic that sounds. But we're only getting started. This is where the story becomes much more complicated. We're no longer talking about a simple personality dispute. The allegations now involve a serious corruption-related controversy. League insiders reportedly claimed that Griner was connected to efforts to interfere with actual games. That includes allegations of influencing referees, manipulating games, and shifting momentum when it mattered most. How could that happen? The claims suggest she may have had more influence behind the scenes than anyone previously realized. Rumors that she spoke with referees or affected the atmosphere inside the locker room may have been only the beginning. The warning signs allegedly became more noticeable as playoff races tightened and certain games began to feel unusually controlled. When Silver reportedly brought in investigators, the situation started falling apart. Executives were terminated. Officials were suspended, and Brittney's name was reportedly appearing throughout the investigation. Text messages, recordings, and emails were allegedly uncovered. This was no longer simply about attitude or ego. The claims involved controlling outcomes. If competition itself is being disrupted, the entire league is affected. Silver wasn't going to ignore that. But should a player ever have that kind of influence? If even part of these allegations proves true, then everything we believe about WNBA integrity could be called into question. That's why this matters. If all of this was happening, where was the commissioner? Cathy Engelbert was supposed to be responsible for maintaining order throughout the league. Instead, she is now being pulled directly into the controversy. According to insiders, Engelbert was aware of the problems before Silver became involved. Players reportedly sent emails, raised concerns, and quietly complained. So what did she do? The allegations suggest very little. Some claim she wanted to protect the WNBA's reputation and avoid confronting Griner. Whatever the reason, her silence may have allowed the situation to become worse. She is reportedly facing an internal review, while fans are calling for her resignation. At the same time, Silver's group has taken control of the disciplinary process. The situation became so serious that multiple players were reportedly involved. The incident exposed what critics describe as a system that allowed problems to continue without proper oversight. What happens when a commissioner puts public relations ahead of accountability? You already know the answer. Chaos follows. Now the league is trying to clean up a situation that critics say it helped create. This entire story might have remained hidden if several people hadn't decided they had enough. Names began coming forward. Big names. According to reports, they provided troubling testimony to league investigators behind closed doors. They described games where referees allegedly appeared to be acting strangely. Certain calls reportedly shifted momentum, giving Griner's team questionable advantages. But these weren't supposedly just feelings or impressions. The witnesses reportedly had evidence. There are also claims that league officials played audio clips during those sessions. In one recording, Griner allegedly discussed matchups and pressure points involving referees. Do you understand what that would mean? The allegation isn't simply that she was using profanity. The claim is that she was making plans away from the court. And when Clark and others reportedly began accusing her, the league was placed in an increasingly difficult position that may have forced Silver to act. Now imagine if Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham had stayed silent. Would this situation ever have reached the public, or would the league have continued protecting one of its biggest stars? Did you really think she would never respond? That's one of the most unsettling parts of this entire story. Not a chance. Once Griner's camp learned about the ban, they reportedly went into action. Lawyers, PR representatives, media contacts, and a full defense strategy were suddenly involved. Her attorneys are reportedly preparing an appeal. According to insiders, they described the punishment as unreasonable, excessive, and politically motivated. They are even threatening legal action while demanding complete access to the investigation records, including the alleged secret recordings. This is where the situation becomes even more intense. Her representatives claim Griner is being used as a scapegoat, while deeper problems within the league are being pushed out of view. Her camp argues that she was targeted for speaking out, challenging league leadership, and having too much influence inside the locker room. One thing is certain. Whether those claims are true or not, this story is unlikely to end with a simple press conference. It appears to be heading toward a public dispute, and if the matter reaches court, far more information could become available. So now we have to ask whether Griner is being sacrificed to protect more powerful figures, or whether this is simply the final consequence for someone who is eventually caught. And just when you thought the story couldn't become any stranger, the gender controversy entered the picture. Yes, it's uncomfortable. It's highly controversial. But the rumors have been circulating for years. Questions suddenly resurfaced. Was Brittney Griner assigned male at birth? We're not here to play doctor, but claims have been made about documents, medical records, and league memoranda. Some sources allege that the WNBA may have known about the issue and kept it hidden. Why would it matter? Griner was a major part of the WNBA's brand. She dunked. She dominated. She sold tickets. And if those allegations had ever become public, some believe the league could have faced a serious crisis. But with her ban, those questions are now receiving even more attention. Some insiders claim the situation goes beyond simple game manipulation. They argue that it could involve an attempt to conceal something more significant. If the league had knowingly hidden such information, critics argue it could have raised questions involving Title IX and competitive fairness. So, is the ban really about keeping secrets away from the public? Or is it actually about protecting the integrity of the game? At this point, we still don't know the full truth. But the questions alone have already made athletes, fans, and even sponsors hesitate. Let's look at the bigger picture. This is no longer just about one player. The controversy now involves a league that appears to be facing a major crisis. Sponsors are nervous. Television networks are reportedly reviewing contracts. Fans are watching closely. When one of your biggest stars is banned amid corruption allegations and controversial rumors about gender identity, the league can quickly lose control of its own story. And that is exactly what the WNBA is dealing with. Angel and Caitlin Clark-Reese, two recent arrivals, entered the league with energy and optimism. But now they are part of a league that sometimes looks more like a soap drama than a sports organization. And what about the future? What happens to the next generation of talent? Would parents really feel comfortable sending their daughters into this kind of chaos? In your opinion, probably not. So here we are. The league is surrounded by controversy. Legends are being removed. And honestly, it still feels like we're only seeing part of the picture. This was supposed to be the WNBA's golden age. Instead of packed arenas, new fans, and rising stars, we're talking about allegations of corruption, secrecy, and cover-ups. Now the entire basketball world is watching. What will Adam Silver do next? Will more players be named? Will Brittney Griner fight back and reveal what she claims the league has been hiding? And what about the players who didn't speak up? Will they be protected from retaliation if they finally decide to talk? This certainly doesn't feel like the end of the story. So we'll keep asking the questions that remain unanswered. And now we want to hear from you. Was the ban justified? Is the league telling the truth? Or is this part of a much larger cover-up that is finally falling apart? Leave your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on that bell. If you want the real story instead of the PR version, share your opinion below. Remember to subscribe and enable all notifications so you don't miss our latest updates. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Click the video on your screen to keep watching.